Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Travel Talk with Tammy and Everything French. Our entire month of May is Everything French, and we are so excited because the world is opening up to us once again with all kinds of new possibilities. So what I'm going to do right now is share my screen with you so we can get started to talk about all these exciting opportunities that are coming our way with travel. So give me 1 second while I get this open. Okay, while we go through tonight's presentation, I'm going to challenge everybody because I want to check on your Francophile level of intelligence, right? Or your le savoir. So I'm going to be asking you some questions during the presentation, and it's okay if you don't get the right answer. And it's just for fun tonight. So I want to get you to learn something new before you leave tonight, whether you're ready to go on any of these vacations. I want you to be able to walk away with a new sense of knowledge about the world and some of the influences of the French culture, and to start thinking about your opportunities. So Open Sesame, it's from Alibaba, right? But he was opening the cave where the 40 thieves wanted to get in to get a treasure. And it really means Open Sesame translates to unlimited and uninhibited access. So that's how I feel right now, because we've had 13 months of being cooped up inside our homes and not able to go very far. And it feels like open sesame. Monday, the European Union announced that we were able to travel. All the countries that were members of the union have agreed that we will be able to enter in as U.S. travelers with the vaccine. And so we're waiting for, it's like we're standing at that cave, right? And we're going open sesame, and we're waiting to hear the announcements for when we are able to go to all these fantastic places that we like to travel in the summer. And so that is my sentiment for tonight. As we move into French month, all I can think about is, when can we go? So let me go ahead and move my thing over here, and we'll get to the next slide. Bear with me. It looks funny because you are all seeing just the screen and I'm just moving controls around. Here we go. Before we get to the trips, what's happening right now with protection protocol? We know that up until this last couple of weeks, it's changing so rapidly that as a company, as a team, we had our safe travel promise, and we were going to US destinations. We had our first international vacation in March, and we were doing it safely. And that meant we were practicing all of the protocols that were recommended by the CDC, like wearing our masks, keeping a 6-foot distance. We moved to small groups. We totally and thoroughly investigated our partners, being hotels and tour companies, so that we could create the safest environment possible. But as I said, now we hear last week that if we're vaccinated, we're able to go to more places than ever before. And so we are still going to practice the safe protocols for as long as we need. We know that we want to be able to respect all of the travelers that are with us, including those who want to travel but still need to stay safe. So until we understand all of the parameters and who we're actually traveling with, we need to continue to be safe. So we will follow these guidelines for as long as we need to, but I see a shift happening. Part of our commitment to our travelers to maintain a safe environment and ultimate respect has been a fit and willing to travel commitment. So it's not a legal document, but it's you saying, yes, I'm going to show up on this trip and I promise to abide by what the local authorities are asking. And I want to respect my other travelers, which means I will wait until I understand if I approach, let's say, Renee for the first time, Renee, you know, do you mind if I get closer to you? I want to have a conversation. If she says, no, I'm sorry, I need to be within distance, we'll be within distance. If she says, yes, of course, approach, then we may. And we'll continue to do that. And I think with more and more of us with the vaccine, it'll be almost a non-issue. And that's what we're seeing in the last 2 trips. Ann, you were just in New Orleans with the group. Brad, you were in New Orleans. I think you guys practiced safety, yet you found some moments where it was safe and comfortable for you to interact with one another. And you didn't have to worry about that. Renee, you were there too, you're nodding. So I'm seeing an evolution very quickly. And so we will continue to keep our members up to date on what the latest is. And it is changing every week. Exciting. This is what it looks like. This is what it's been like. So here are many of our members who have been traveling since last year, albeit at a lesser velocity, but we're doing it. We're having fun. We're not letting this small inconvenience get in our way, and wanted everybody here tonight to see what it looks like and what it's been doing. So if you have questions about it or have concerns, please bring them to our attention. We want to help you get out there. We've solved all the immediate problems. Now, I told you I'm going to test your knowledge tonight. So that means in French, votre savoir, your knowledge base. So feel free, when you know the answer to the question, you are able to type it into the chat, and I'll be monitoring that to see who gets the answer right. But it's really more for fun tonight than a prize, so that you, like I said, walk away with something new in your conversational bag when you're out there and we're attending single events and we're attending events in the future. You're going to know a lot more. And that's what travel does for us, quite honestly. It gives us some great conversation starters. So here we go. What's up down the pike here? These are the trips that we are planning for our members between 2021 and 2022 that have a French twist. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We'll start with the single sailing adventure French Riviera, because that's coming up next. We'll be aboard the beautiful and one-of-a-kind Royal Clipper, which is the only 5-masted full-rigged sailing ship built since her predecessor was launched. What does that mean? Nothing. It's just a cool ship, and you've never experienced anything like a tall ship adventure. It's an intimate 5-star service, gourmet food. You see that it's only 227 guests, which what that means is it falls below the requirement that the CDC has for vessels over 250 passengers. That doesn't mean they're not going to be practicing a safe culture and putting in all of the things that the large cruise ships are going to be required to do, but it's a much more intimate experience. It's all of the space other than the dining room is outside. We're congregating outside, so it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. And this is our home for 7 nights on the French Riviera. So here's our first question. This city is known for its famous festival. Where are we now? Let's put it into the chat. And great. We'll see who gets that answer correctly. So that's great. Put it in there. And awesome. Good. Okay, that's right. This is Cannes, the city of Cannes. And that is where our cruise starts in. So we're going to fly into Nice, and then you take some transportation, which is listed on our site, from the airport from Nice to Cannes, and that's where we start our vacation. By the way, all of our international vacations have a pre-night stay inside the city where we begin our adventure. So that's something that's always included with Singles Travel International. After Cannes, we're going to go to Bondal. Who wants to take a guess? What is famous about Bondal? What do you recognize about this field? What are we making here in Bondal? We're getting some guesses. Yes, exactly. Wine is the key. Almost everybody got that right. So on this cruise, we're going to be visiting some incredible seaside villages and big fancy cities. We'll also have a chance to do some wine tours and understand more about French wine. You cannot go to France without turning out and learning about wine. And as many times as I've been to wineries and learned the process, I always forget because I'm drinking wine. So this is the city of Bondal. Here is another little, this is a riddle, kind of a quiz, not a riddle. Does anybody remember the famous commercial, Bain de Soleil for the tan? So if you do, Renee, you're too young. I'm giving my age away. So let's go ahead and put in the chat. Welcome, Howard, to the session tonight. We're learning about all our destinations for France, and we're testing the intelligence and the savoir of our group here tonight. So let's see if we got some guesses for the answer. And did anybody get this? Oh gosh, maybe I'm okay. I thought this was more famous, but let me give you another reason why it's famous. There was a movie in 1955. Does anybody remember Brigitte Bardot? She was a famous, beautiful actress. And they made a movie called God Created Woman. And that is what put Saint-Tropez on the map to become, you know, a lifestyle of the rich and famous. And we're going to be able to walk through these streets and sightsee and people watch. And there is a beach there that I know that everybody's going to want to go see, men and women alike. It's called the Tahiti Plage. Plage means beach. And it's a topless beach. And by the way, they're all over the French Riviera. So that's something that we don't get to see here in the US. And when you're in French, it's very French. So not a big deal, but you can go and take a look. If you've never done that in your life, you have to do it. And if you want to take your top off, you're welcome to do that. I recommend it, right? Let's be free. We're over 50. What the heck? Who cares at this point, right? So Saint-Tropez is one of the most awesome places along the French Riviera, and our cruise is going to stop there. And we have some time to explore, and this is what nighttime looks like, and it's just beautiful. So the answer to this was Bain de Soleil for the Saint-Tropez tan, and that was that tall, thin girl that had that like golden tan, and the sunscreen came in a tube, and it was orange. So maybe that was what made her beautifully tan. But okay, so that's maybe, I guess, not as widely known as I thought it would be. Next stop, and by the way, this entire trip touches on both France and Italy. So I'm going to feature, with all of the locations that I talk about tonight, those that have a stop, you know, the French stops. So this is Corsica. So the question is, what is Corsica? Is it France or Italy? Who knows? You guys know the answer. Go ahead and type it in the chat. Is it France or Italy? It's the 4th largest Mediterranean island. It is mountainous, so it's going to be an awesome place to do hiking and scuba diving. So if anybody's a diver, you're definitely going to, with the Star Clipper cruises, diving is a big deal. The owner, Mr. Kraft, he lives in Monaco. He's a big scuba diver. So anytime that his itineraries allow us to scuba dive, we do that. Okay, so we got a lot of guesses for Italy, but the drum roll is it is France. Corsica is part of France. And what famous leader was born in Corsica? Does anybody know that? Come on, this is one of those Jeopardy easy ones. Who was born in, okay, good. Yes, we got Napoleon, and Howard, awesome, welcome. You visited Corsica during the 200th anniversary of Napoleon's birth. That must have been pretty fascinating. I bet there were some great parties there. So This cruise just, you know, goes on and on and on. Beautiful French Riviera. We do go to Italy. Our STI signature experience in Italy in Portoferrao, and we're going to do a cheese tasting with a local vendor. So, what is our singles travel experience? I'm going to talk about that in just a minute when we get into the French wine country, because we are going to experience something fantastic on this. This cruise now is going to start in Marseille. So it is designed to be a back-to-back vacation with the cruise that we just showed you, the single sailing adventure French Riviera. When you get back to Cannes at the end of that cruise, we're going to take you by train from Cannes to Marseille. And so it's going to be a 3-night stay in Marseille. Our package includes 1 night, and we'll add a couple of extra nights for those who want to do the back-to-back. If you don't want to do back-to-back, you're able to do it as a single vacation. Either way, both of them have premium offers right now, so you can ask me about that later. This particular cruise is going to go from Marseille up to Lyon. And then when we end in Lyon, we have about an hour ride up to Paris, because that's where you're going to fly back from. So for those who are heading home that day, you're able to do that. We recommend a 2-night package in Paris. If you're going all that way and you've just come from the Riviera, we feel that 2 nights in Paris is a must do. So this particular cruise, quite different from your French Riviera cruise, where you're on the seaside and you're along the coast and you're seeing all of these beautiful and notable seaside sites. You're going to be in the interior. This is a river cruise. And what's so special about a river cruise is that you're able to travel along the interior of the country. And here you're going to see, give me 1 second. I think somebody, just make sure you guys are muted. Somebody's logged in twice, and it's fine. There we go. That's fine, because I know sometimes we do that to make it work. This is going to get us to the castles and to antiquity, and we're going to learn about again how to make wine, because we're going to be in the not the Bordeaux but the Burgundy region, the Rhone River, and we're going to be able to learn all about those regions as we go. So these are some of the sites you'll see. This is Lyon in the top right. This is Marseille in the bottom. This is Tournon here with this little castle. So it's just a fascinating way to travel. And here's what our vessel looks like. So this is the Avalon Poetry 2. This cabin on the right-hand side is going to be what the majority of the cabins look like. We have a premium offer on this one, actually saving $3,000, over $3,000 if you take this top category. And all of the cabins have this floor-to-ceiling, wall-to-wall sliding glass doors. And if anybody's ever done a river cruise, they would tell you it's so relaxing. And there's our vessel on the left-hand side. When it pulls up to the riverbank, it's like parking a car. It is that easy. And when you get off each morning, our local guide is there either to take you on a walking tour, or there will be coaches available right at the dockside to pick us up and take us on our tours. Sometimes there are multiple vessels in the same location, and they raft up, meaning they park right next to each other side by side, and you end up having to walk through 3 or 4 cruise ships just to get to the what do I want to say? Get to the water's edge, right? To get off on land. So it's a pretty fascinating and different way to travel the interior of a country, so much more comfortable than doing it on a bus. And those cabins are very well equipped. And while we're, the way that on a normal large cruise ship, you cruise at night and then you get to your destination in the daytime. Well, on a river cruise, we sometimes start in the morning in one town, do a tour, get back on for lunch because breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included. Wine is included, beer is included with your meals. And then we get back on and we have our lunch, and then we take off and we cruise down this scenic river, and we end up in another location for the evening. And you're able to get out and do some evening exploring. So we get to go to a local place and have a drink and feel like a local. So it's a really nice, intimate way to see the interior of a country. And in this case, it would be France. Okay. So what is an STI signature experience? This is something that we crafted as a team a couple of years ago. We said we want to do something really special. So it is it's an event that we put into our international vacations that is only for our group, and it's usually something incredibly spectacular, and it's included in your package. So it's a carefully curated, immersive cultural experience. And in this case, you can only get it with Singles Travel International. And I'll tell you that no way is any tour company taking you to the famous restaurant of Paul Bocuse in Lyon. He is the father of gourmet food. Any chef will know him. And I love his saying here, work as though you'll live to be 100 and live as though tomorrow will be your last. And that is what we are going to go for broke while we are in France. And he has invented the most incredible dishes. I was lucky enough to be here as a right out of college. I went to France and I lived there for a while. I tried to make it there. And his restaurant is famous. And so we're going to take the whole group to Bocuse for a 5-course dinner with accompanying wines. It is going to be the piece de résistance, probably the highlight of your trip. So that's what an STI signature experience is. And we are now offering those on all of our international vacations. So you get that to look forward to. New Orleans, French Quarter Fest. Here we go again. It has been extended. I think this is the 5th time, but we're going. And why? Again, personal experience. Going to the French Quarter Fest is phenomenal. If you want to listen to great music, party like there's no tomorrow, as Paul Bocuse would say, live like it's your last day, enjoy the most incredible food, which is a combination of French, Creole, African. It's super, super intense and unique, and dance in the streets, then this would be the vacation for you. This is a weekend getaway, and there are 23 stages set up in the French Quarter. Sometimes people confuse this with Jazz Fest. Jazz Festival is amazing. It's out at the fairgrounds. So when you go to Jazz Fest, you stay in the French Quarter, you're taking a vehicle, a bus, or some kind of a shuttle 30 minutes outside of the city to a big fairground. So there's no seating, you have to bring blankets, there is food, but it's a festival out in the fairground. French Quarter Fest has 23 bandstands set up in the quarter. You walk out of the hotel where we're staying and take a left and there's a bandstand. Take a right and there's a bandstand. Oh, and there's a beer stand too. So you can pick up a beer or an O'Brien's. You can pass by O'Brien's and there's a bandstand. And the music is diverse, everything from Zydeco to jazz. And any musician worth his or her salt within 500 miles is at this event. So you have all this breakout music happening in the streets wherever you go. And I mean, I saw a kid one time with a trombone on his back, on his bike. He was riding past a group, dropped his bike, unzipped his trombone, and jumped in and sat in with the band. So it's like nothing that I've ever experienced in my life. So you've got the professional bands, and then you have all these musicians just getting together and gigging and sitting in and having a great time and learning from each other and sharing. So if you're a music lover, you like to party, you like to dance, you like good food, this is going to be the great weekend for you. And that's in now October. So I feel like this year will be the year that it's going to happen. Quiz time, guys. Name the French king for whom Louisiana, was named by the first French explorers in 1682. It's not as hard as you think. Name the king. Who was the king in the 17th century? All right, Howard, rock on. Louis XIV, which is Louis XIV. Way to go. Good answer, good answer. That's who it was. So King Louis XIV. The explorers came and they named it after their king. Now, by the way, in my research today, I realized that the French pretty much invaded a big territory right up the middle of the United States up through Canada. Most of you guys probably know that. I didn't. So Louisiana was just the tip of it. And so everybody was fighting, the Spanish, the British, and the French for all of our territories. But because of the French, we end up with New Orleans, and that's awesome. Okay, outrageous New Year's Eve singles weekend in Las Vegas. You guys are going, what does that have to do with Paris or France, right? How French is Las Vegas? Well, because we're going to be staying at the Paris. Ta-da! So if you haven't been to Las Vegas, this could be the year for you. And we are going to do this over New Year's Eve. We want to be able to give our members a destination in the United States, because even though some of us are heading out, we are going on the Leeward Islands cruise. I know Mark and Renee are booked on that, and some of us are on the Symphony. But we wanted to have an option for our members who want to stay in the United States for the New Year's Eve celebration. We don't know what it's going to be like in 6 months. I think it'll be much better than we anticipate. However, this is another opportunity, and it's a weekend getaway, and we have lots of weekenders. So we're hoping that this is an exciting. We have done Vegas many times as a singles group, and it's outrageous. That's why Vicki named it that. We get kicked out. Like let's see if we're allowed back in. We have had so many crazy times in Vegas. It's not even funny. So again, Paris, New Year's Eve in Las Vegas. This is, okay, here's my question for you guys. What building is this main? This is the main hotel. Obviously, that is the hotel. We're not staying in the tower. Does anybody know the name of the building that this is modeled after in France? So if you want to put that in the chat, I would love to see if anybody knows what that looks like. It's a ginormous version of it, but it is after a building in France. So let me see what we got here. The Ritz, Paris Casino has a wonderful buffet. It sure does. And the French do not do buffets, by the way. They're very opposed to it. They eat little mini bites of things. But yeah, Bally's is next door, and Caesars. It's going to be so phenomenal. And by the way, the top of the tower has a revolving restaurant, and it overlooks the Bellagio fountain. So it is the place to go. So, okay, it's the Hotel de Ville, which is the city hall for Paris. It's not the most famous iconic site that everybody goes to when they go to Paris, but that's what it's modeled after. And here's some terrific views of the inside of the hotel. This is on the right-hand side, that's the interior of the hotel. That's a trompe l'oeil, as they call it, a fake look on the ceiling. It looks like you're outside. That is literally a walkway with shops and a couple of restaurants and a cafe, and the buffet is down that area too. This is a lovely check-in area modeled after Versailles. And so it's very French. I know that it's Las Vegas, but it does make me feel like I'm in France when I do this. And my favorite restaurant, and I hope we do an event there, it's called Mon Ami Gabi. There's one in Chicago, and I think there's another one somewhere else in the United States. Phenomenal steak frite. That is a famous, famous dish in France. They take a very thin steak, perfectly prepared. And then the most incredible, you think McDonald's fries are good? Not until you've had the frite from France, double fried, yum, yum, yum with your steak. And that is my recommendation when you do Vegas, is to do a lunch at Mon Ami David. People watch the fountains at the Bellagio. And we're gonna have a crazy, insane event for New Year's Eve. So stay tuned on that. You'll be able to see all the details as we roll that out in a couple of months. We're waiting for more things to open up in Vegas. Tahitian Paradise Singles Cruise. Yay. What do you guys know about Tahiti and France? Well, this is our itinerary. We're going to start in Papeete. We go to Wahine, Society Islands, and here's a great benefit of this particular cruise, which is on a 5-star luxury vessel called the Paul Gauguin. Everything is included in our package except excursions. Your gratuities, your unlimited drinks, you get a little bar in your room, all your meals, 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Less than 300 passengers. So the attention to service is enormous. I think you guys, some of you won't want to come home, but we overnight in both Bora Bora and Moorea. And a lot of people ask, why would I go all the way over to Tahiti just for the beach? Well, let me tell you, there is an ancient and rich history and tradition in the Polynesian Islands. So, by the way, it started way back in 4000 BC. I'm not sure who fact checked this, but according to what I understand, in 4000 BC, there was the Southeast Asian migration, and the Polynesian people were going from island to island and, finding new places with these tiny little outrigger boats, right? Did anybody see Moana? I love Moana. I love the movie because she's an explorer. Her and Dora are my heroes. And so their history goes back so far. And so there is so much culture and so much tradition. And you know what? Their tradition, every single one of them, is a story, a beautiful story of their lives, of love, and their intense relationship with nature. So if you are a nature person, you love culture, you love new cultures, and you want to learn, and you love history, then this is going to be an incredible trip for you, on top of all the natural beauty and the water sports and things that we'll be able to do. So here's something, everybody knows James Michener, famous author. He's written some epic books about the Panama Canal, about the Caribbean. And so he says, but nothing on Tahiti is so majestic as what faces it across the bay. For there lies the island of Moorea. It is a monument to the prodigal beauty of nature, impossible to describe. And here's a guy who's a master of words, and he says, impossible to describe. So I want to go. I want to see that. And by the way, I will be going on that trip. It's the President's Club trip for next year. So I hope you'll think about joining me. And let me show you some fascinating things about Tahiti. The people, the culture, they're so friendly. I can smell those flowers right now that they made their leis out of. And you'll have a chance to get to know the culture and the people and experience some things that you wouldn't be able to do unless you get to this part of the world. All right, we got some chatting going on right here, so let me see what's happening. Yes, it's better, less commercial. Papeete, sure, it's gorgeous. And by the way, our package, our cruise is including 7 nights on the Paul Gauguin, 2 nights for those who make their reservation relatively soon. We still have a promotion with 2 nights in Papeete. We're staying at the Intercontinental, and it includes a Jeep tour. We're going to go on an ATV Jeeps for the day. It includes your airfare from Los Angeles. So it even gets better, right? So I said drinks are included, your gratuities to the staff, your meals, your flight from Los Angeles, your 2 nights in Papeete, everything is included. And if you're a premium member and you take the full window room, you save $1,510. So it's a really good value for while it lasts. I think we have 4 left. What else about Tahiti? Okay, how did it, so 4,000 BC, people start migrating, they're discovering. By the 17th, 18th century, what's happening? We already heard it once before. The French are coming over, they're looking for new products, they're looking for new transits, they're looking for all kinds of stuff, not all of it good. But name the famous captain, because this is where the Europeans went nuts. When they heard the story of Captain Cook, and that, by the way, that's not the right answer. He was the first one to hit Polynesia. But this famous captain and his unfortunate demise, when the word got back to Europe about how incredible Polynesia was, everybody wanted to come. So let's see if anybody can guess what the name of this famous poor captain was. All right, Mark, good job. Captain Bligh. That's right. We got Howard, Captain Bligh. And cool. Captain Cook, Mike got there before Bligh. But if you haven't seen the movie Mutiny on the Bounty, I'm not going to ruin it for you. I thought it was a bigger epic thing than what it ended up being, right? So it's just a testament of human nature once again. So if you haven't seen Mutiny on the Bounty, go see it. Maybe girls, you want to see the version with, what's his name? The later one. I forget that handsome actor. There's too many of them. Watch the later versions and enjoy that. So when when the actual event happened, the word got back to Europe like wildfire that there is an amazing place called Polynesia and everybody's going to want to go. So that is another part of the history there of Tahiti. So there's a lot of history. Well, what about the artisanship? The women in Tahiti traditionally wore just a little wrap, made of a small material that they made out of the leaves that were indigenous of the area. It was called a pareo, right? So everybody buys a pareo when they go to Tahiti, and this woman's making a pattern to fashion those. So that's something that you'll be able to see. They're also known for carving and for the tattoos. So guys, let's get a tattoo, right? Come back with this beautiful carving from Tahiti. Not maybe, because if you see, they're not really using needles. They're using these like shark teeth or some kind of bone that they use to cut it out of your skin. So if you're going to do that, please let me know before you get off the ship so I know to come looking for you. The other thing that I know the gals love are the black pearls. So, okay. I think you should get a tattoo, Robbie. Good. So indigenous, you're going to want to look for those. We're going to help everybody shop for that if that's what they want. And what's lovely about them, they're all different sizes, so you can really get creative with the jewelry that's available for us over there. And I'm looking forward to that, watching how it's cultivated, how they farm it, and how we are able to buy it on a necklace. And I think what comes to people's minds, first of all, is the incredible underwater life, but there's also mountain ranges. So Moorea is super mountainous, and we're going to be there overnight. So when we're there overnight in Moorea and Bora Bora, we are going to get to do some nighttime. I know we're going to get to see some dancing and music, and then we'll have 2 days to get out and do excursions. So we'll really get an immersion in those two places. So look at this, if you're not a big diver, so a lot of people don't dive, right? I was a scaredy cat. I wasn't a diver for a long time. And by the way, the reason I dive is because I wanted to get over a fear. It wasn't because I wanted to see the fish. And now I enjoy it because I'm an experienced diver. But let's say you don't dive. There are opportunities for you to get underwater. There are glass bottom boat excursions. This is a new technology. You can see he's got a pole, like a tube that goes up to the boat. He's not very deep. By the way, all the best fish are in 20 to 30 feet anyway. So that's one opportunity. I saw another underwater scooter. The advertisement said, don't even get your hair wet. Like, what's that about? So that's great. So if you're not a scuba diver, you are still able to get underwater, and you want to do that in one of these ports because the sea life is amazing and it's so clean and the coral is so colorful. I know that we have some beautiful places in the Caribbean and Florida, but there are so many visitors that over time the coral gets this like yellowy green color to it. And I've seen some in Indonesia and of course in the Polynesia, the coral is purple and reds and pinks and yellows and oranges. And it's just like, no, it's just incredible. So any way you can get under the water, you want to do that. Here's this crazy group here. They're doing a Jeep tour. There's ATVs, there's kayaking. There are all kinds of opportunities for exploration in addition to the history tours and the culture and the shopping. So you can see there's a lot to do in Tahiti. Another way to explore, get up in the air, right? So you might not think, oh, I'm getting off a boat to get on another boat, but getting on a catamaran for the afternoon that you're able to snorkel. Look at these beautiful black tip reef sharks underneath the boat here. Who wants to get in the water with a black tip reef shark? I did it before, so it's pretty scary. And there's a stingray. All of these, of course, are guided, and the dive masters will help you navigate. We're not going to dip you in the water. That's dangerous. But you can also take a flight scene tour. Another interesting way to see, and you know that the atolls and the islands go on and on and on, and there's so much to see. So getting up in the air is another beautiful way to enjoy it all. Single sailing adventure, Monaco and Grand Prix. Well, the Grand Prix is in Monaco, or as they say, Monaco. Monaco. Who knows where Monaco is? Is it its own country, guys, or is it part of France? Who knows? Anybody? Okay, well, it's a principality, right? Guys, remember Princess Grace? She was married to Prince Philip. Everybody knows Grace, Grace Kelly. So it's a monarchy, it's a principality. The owner of Star Clippers does come from Monaco, but this is an incredible, here we are back on Royal Clipper. You already learned about that from our other French Riviera cruise. Some of the stops on this are similar to the one in October of 21. This is in May of 22. We will be there. Okay, so let me show you this picture. So first of all, look at this. Look, here's a reference. Are you able to see on the bowsprit? That's the very forward part of this vessel. That's all the crew. All those people, oops, all those people in white. Sorry, let me go backwards. Ah, darn it. I messed up there. Let me start all over. Let me go back to that. I want to show you guys the picture. Hopefully that starts. That bowsprit, all of those are crew members. So there's like 15 people on the bowsprit there. And I know at the last time we were together on Singles Travel International, a bunch of us got out on that netting and got to take pictures and just chill out. You can go out there anytime you want. You can raise sails. You can climb the mast. You can do all kinds of fun stuff, but you're not obligated. They're not going to knock on your door at 6 in the morning and make you come up and hoist the sails. But if you want to participate, you're welcome to do that. Now imagine coming into Monaco, fancy Monaco, aboard your own private yacht. You're going to arrive on that yacht. Everyone will be looking at us. Forget us looking at who's rich and famous. They'll be like, oh, who are these guys on their private yacht? So here's a picture of Monte Carlo. This is Monte Carlo, mountains in the background, port, famous port, and the racetrack goes right through the city. It is the most premier of all the tracks for the Formula One, which is F1 Formula One. And what I love about racing, we have a little inset picture here. These are the drivers, the pits, the drivers. You have access to those areas. Unlike, I know I went to a baseball game recently and you couldn't even talk to the players anymore, right? Because they're so protected, everything's so protected. But with racing, there's still access. We'll be there for the trials. So they have grandstands. There's major seating. If you want to spend a small fortune, we will help you do that. We're going to help everybody with their tickets. The grandstand tickets will start around $200 to $300 for the day, if that. And there, as you can see in this picture, those are some of the grandstands. I don't know if you guys can see in the lower right-hand side. There'll be, and then they're over a little bit to the left. Let me see if I could do a, I think I can do an annotation here. Let me do, let's try red and see if I can. So these here, these are some grandstands and the racetrack is going here, right? And then these are more grandstands. So you can see you're right on the track, right in town. And they do, here's my question. Who knows how many laps are done inside the Grand Prix Formula One in Monaco? Does anybody want to take a guess at how many laps? I'm going to tell you that the average driver will make 5,000 gear changes during the course of the race. So how many laps? Anybody want to take a guess? Let me see. I'll check the chat. Okay, 500. Great. Didn't realize that track went right through the city. Yeah, so everything is right there. And by the way, where our view is, that is not exactly where the castle is, but the castle is right behind us. So the last time we docked our vessel, that Royal Clipper docked right behind the main castle. And then we walked up, and that the castle area where the royal family lives is all shops and restaurants. And you can step over the side and this is the view. So even if you don't want to have a ticket for the race itself, if you're not that interested in sitting and watching the race, because they're trials, it's not the actual race. The race is next week, the following week. But if you don't want to watch the trials in the seats, you are able to see it from up in the castle. So, okay, anybody let me see if anybody got the guess right for how many laps. I want to give you the answer because I promised to give you guys some knowledge. Okay, 78 laps. Still a long time. And it goes underneath. There's a tunnel. I don't know the length of the track. I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's an exciting place to be. It's really exciting, and you never know who you're going to see at this time. Same with Cannes, right? You just never know. We're always on the hunt to kind of sightsee and people watch. You can really run into almost anybody. I met Princess Stephanie one time when I was there because she owns a store. I was with a group and she was in her store, and we went over and we said hello and we took pictures with her and everything. So really real people, and they're, just like us anyway. So not maybe that exciting for everybody, but I thought it was kind of cool, and the people that I was with thought it was too. So, all right. So this is Monaco. A nice day trip, if you're not going to do the racing, is to go up to Eza. It's a little city perched on the top of the hillside here, this little hill. And there's a beautiful Relais and Chateau restaurant there. All like medieval little town with shops and flowers. And I just like to go to that restaurant and sit over the edge, the Mediterranean at my feet. And if it gets a little chilly, they put a little knitted blanket on you, Jen. They take a little, knitted blanket and put it on your lap. And I don't know, I just have had some wonderful experiences there. So that is Monaco and the French Riviera. There's my scribble, but that is the itinerary. So we're starting and ending in Cannes and Monaco and Saint-Tropez, which you guys now know, Bain de Soleil for the Saint-Tropez tan is also on this itinerary. The rest of the ports are all Italy. So we are getting Italy and France in both of these. Wonderful, wonderful itineraries. How do you do it? You just log into singlestravelintl.com and click on all trips, and you'll be able to see all of the trips that we have coming up, including the ones that I shared with you tonight. And it's that easy. So my question for you guys is, well, I passed that one, but here's my final question. What's holding you back? This was not something you have to answer in public, but just think about that. What's holding you back? Because now, open sesame, it's opening. We're ready to go. We're able to go. And I hope to see everybody out in the world so we can all become fearless world travelers that we want to become, and enjoy it together. So connect with confidence on Single Life Today, Singles Travel International. We have 2 sites now so that we can stay connected with our 50 plus singles on the road and while we're not on the road. And I just thank everybody for joining me here tonight. I'm going to open up for us to do a Q&A, because I'm sure there might be some questions and some debates and disputes about the answers to the quizzes, and I want to make sure I get to all of that. So for those of you out there who weren't with us tonight but watched, thanks for joining, and we'll see you soon on the road or at singlelife.today.